So I want to start this by saying that the gameplay that you're seeing me play here is actually only the second time in my life that I've ever even attempted to play any of Doom. So everything that I'm saying about this game is entirely based on things that I have read, seen, heard about Doom. It's not from my own personal knowledge. So if I'm actually wrong about the general premise of Doom, please forgive me for this. Now, I know some of y'all probably clicked on this thinking, oh, it's just clickbait, but I'll give it a listen. And to be frank, I did decide on that title knowing that it would probably draw more people in. But this was an actual question that someone asked me in a Twitch stream about 2 months ago, I think. I wasn't even playing Doom at the time. I was playing Super Hot. But someone came into my stream and said, hey, in your About page, you talk about God. So what would God think of Doom? And I had to stop and think about that for a few minutes because it's a very serious thing for me to think that I'm trying to sort of speak on God's behalf and explaining what God is saying, what he thinks about certain things. And what I'm going to say here is the same thing that I said to that person who asked that question in my stream. Before I get into this, I just want to clarify a few things. Number one, I believe that God is real and the Bible is 100% true and accurate. If you don't believe that, that's fine with me. That's your choice. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. My position will not change. Two, I personally only read the King James Version of the Bible. This is my personal decision. I'm not putting anyone down for whatever version they use, telling anyone what version they should or should not read, or for that matter, telling you whether or not you should read the Bible at all. But I'm just clarifying which version I read because it does influence my beliefs, and I thought it was important to make it clear. Three, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to believe or what to think or convert anyone. I am simply stating my own beliefs. You are free to choose whether to believe it or not. And four, if you're a Christian watching this, I'm just going to warn you right now, you might think that some of what I'm going to say is quote-unquote heretical or metaphysical or something along those lines. Let me make this perfectly clear to you. I do not care. My beliefs about what God has said are between me and him, and I'm just sharing them. Now then, on to the subject at hand. What would God think of Doom? So, from what I have read and heard, Doom is essentially a shooter about a Marine who ends up on Mars and finds a portal into hell where he goes and shoots demons. So, what I said to this person in my Twitch chat, and what I still believe God is telling me, is this. And before I get started, I want to say that this horribly sucky gameplay that you're seeing is only my second attempt to play any Doom game ever. This is the 2016, I think, reboot on Xbox One. I picked up a used copy at the local game store, played about 15 minutes of it. This was about a year ago, by the way. Oh, right, I forgot how much I suck at shooters and didn't play anymore until now. And might never play any more of it after this, I don't know. I personally don't think God has any more of an issue with Doom than he might have with any other shooter game on the market for the most part. So let's start off looking at this from a story standpoint. From what I understand of Doom, and my Twitch viewers didn't correct me, so I'm guessing I wasn't too far off, the writers probably could have called Hell by any other name and it wouldn't have made any major changes to the story or the gameplay. They could have called it Zork or Wonderland, or made up a name like Fnickle, Fnack, Fnur, or something, I don't know. And it would have been the same game. The only thing that really would have changed was Christians would not have cared as much. The only thing they would have complained about then would be the same things Christians always complain about in games: killing, death, violence, and blood. Is there blood in Doom? They're demons. Do they actually bleed? Anyway, from what I've read, there's some kind of dark lord or something like that created the universe of hell and Doom and the demons within it. Really, when you think about it, this core storyline isn't much different than a good bit of the storyline of Zelda. Some big bad dark lord creates monsters in its world, transports them into our world, and goes ham on humanity. Okay, as a Zelda fan, I know Zelda's storyline is much more complicated than that, but that's basically how the Dark Lord, Dark World, Ganon, and his monsters thing works. And the only thing Christians complain about in Zelda is the use of magic. The only thing that I think God might have a problem with is the misrepresentation of hell and demons and potentially of God himself. The video is going to start getting a little preachy now, so feel free to navigate away if you don't want to hear it. What I think the Bible teaches is that heaven and hell are not like physical destinations that can be visited, whether through a portal or plain old transportation or any other means. Every human being has a soul or spirit. I think the two terms are interchangeable. I'm no theologian. I've never been to any kind of Bible college, seminary school, anything like that. I don't fully understand how the soul and all of that works, how spiritual realm, we'll call it, where heaven and hell are located, how they work. I do know that the Bible makes it pretty clear that the only way to get to heaven or hell is to die. If you have accepted Jesus and his gift of salvation, you go to heaven. If you died in your sins, having never accepted that Jesus died to cleanse you from your sins, you go to hell. Let me make something clear. I believe that the Bible clearly teaches that hell is real and that it is the final destination for everyone who has rejected Christ in their lifetime. You don't go to hell just because you were a bad person. You go to hell because you chose sin over God. Sin is not just doing bad things. Sin is rebellion against God. Sin is saying that you disagree with God's plan for your life. We are all guilty of sin. Every single human who has ever lived is guilty of sin because at the very least, at even one instance in our life, we at some point decided, I think I know better than God, and we went along with that train of thought. And that is sin at its basic, barest, bare bones definition. The only reason any person, anywhere, at any time, goes to heaven is because that person decided to accept that Jesus took their place by dying on the cross for their sin, and that Jesus then rose from the dead 3 days later, conquering death forever and opening up a path so that anyone who believes in him does not have to die spiritually and thus go to hell, but can instead go to heaven and be with Jesus for all eternity. Jesus decided to take our place. He decided to take all the blame for all of our sin, all of our rebellion, all of our decisions to not do what God planned for us to do in our lives, not do what God told us to do in our lives. Jesus decided to take all of the blame and punishment for that on himself. And if we accept that he did this for us because he loves us, and we accept that God's plan for our lives is what is best, that is the only reason anyone gets to go to heaven. Again, you are free to believe whatever you want. But you came here to hear what the Bible teaches. You stayed this far despite my warning that this was about to get preachy, and to the best of my ability and understanding, I'm trying to give you what I believe the Bible teaches. And as for shooting demons, I don't think there's anything in the Bible that seems to indicate that demons or any kind of spirits can die. Demons, angels, spirits of humans whose physical bodies have died, our spirits, souls, whatever you want to call them, live on. God himself cannot die. The Bible does describe hell as the second death, but it doesn't seem to say that the spirits stop existing. Satan, his demons, and the spirits of those who refused Christ all get sent to a lake of fire, and the smoke of their torment goeth up forever and ever, which to me indicates that they don't stop existing. So death, it seems, does not mean the cessation of existence, but rather eternal separation from God. And since God is described as the source of love, light, peace, joy, and hope, then separation from God can only be eternal darkness and torment, which is exactly how the Bible describes hell. So no, I don't think demons can be killed, and if they can, we certainly can't do it with a shotgun or even a rocket launcher, because the demons of the Bible are spiritual. They are spiritual beings. They don't exist in the physical world that we know. That's why we don't see them. So even if they could be killed, they could not be killed by any weapons that come from this physical world in which we live. So in the long run, I personally don't think that God hates Doom or is mad at anyone for playing Doom. In most of the discussions that I've seen, including quite a few that I researched while writing the script for this video, most people seem to understand that hell and the demons of Doom are not the same as the hell and demons mentioned in the Bible. So, yeah, as long as you understand that, then I think you're good. Knock 'em dead, guys. I think maybe I almost could enjoy this game if I just didn't suck so bad at it.